I keep forgetting to hit start, and then I have to go back, and my mind sometimes has a hard time going back, especially if I go too far ahead thinking. So I try to get my thoughts outside of my head. And I think that maybe life is important to me, which is why I am stuck there on life and living and extending life and the things that I can do to help life go a little further. And I can see more years, and my children can see more years, because I feel like my prayers have truly been answered each time I hear my loved one's voice. My loved ones, mine that mean so much to me, and sometimes those that are nearest and dearest are your children, and then you got grandchildren that have come along. You know, they may not have come from my body, but they are a branch on my tree nonetheless. You know, they started from within me, so without me they would not be here. And that's how it is for me. I would not be here if my ancestors had not led the trail that they led that brought me. And so I see, like, what was it like for me as a spear, something. What is the life source? The life source, could it be from heat? Could the source of our life be from the sun, from the heat? Or just, and who knows? Who knows? Little shards of something that needed to live. I wonder, what is the sun? What is her natural element and her natural color? It looks kind of yellow and orange to me, so I say it's a bright color. She was a natural bright color. And what made her glow is it her source of heat? She the source of heat in this universe in which we live in. Her light is bright. That's the source of heat. And we are pulled to her because I think that we came from her, from the sun. I'm not for sure. Is it true or not? I don't know. But I sit down and I tell myself that. And then the big bang, like it was all of these different particles and elements in the dark matter. And it all gravitated toward her, and it all came towards her, and it all came towards her, and it all pulled towards her. And it was just, all of it got clumped together, and all of those different particles, each just that began to grow in from nothing, because there was nothing. And who knows how long nothing has gone back. Who knows how many different universes are out there. We don't know. We just know what we have, the ability and the technology to see where we live. And I think we're going higher up in the air, they can see further out. And I don't know. I'm quite sure an aerial view, you see how great the view is when we look at Earth. What does it look like when they look further out into the universe? I'm quite sure it stretches beyond measure for them. And that's we just a speck in that. And I know sometimes some people look bigger than others, but it's okay. It's okay. We all came from the sun. We all originated from the sun. And during the Big Bang, boom, each whatever it is that came from her, extended itself out in the order that we see now. And there it hanged, pushed away from her, yet pulling toward her because we're drawn by her heat. And then life had to be sustained for that to live. And she's the source of life. And all of the things that began to settle after it had happened, it was like blew her. We were blown, BLOWN. Is that a word? We look, phew, it's like expelling out. Could have been a burp, a tear, or anything, gas from everybody drawn to her like an egg or something and trying to get in, or just botched together, or two. It was one, whatever the skin was that was around us. It began from somewhere. Just that one, whatever it was, that nothing, but it was dark because there was no light. And there was nothing inside of nothing. And because it was dark, and it was dry, and it was cold, and it was solid, and it was ice. They call it ice. It was like frozen. But all of that ice got hot. And that heat began to build up. And just the more it built up, the more water began. It's like, press whatever it is that heat does. Heat makes things build up. Build up, build up, build up, build up. And all of these little different nothings grew. All these little different organisms and like whatever it is grew into each own being, its own little thing from the heat and the water, whatever it was, as it began to break down, like that first drop. It picked up what it picked up from the ice. Then a second drop, it picked up what it picked up. And just a drop, a drop, a drop. As it began to melt from the heat that built up within itself. And a drop, and a drop, and a drop. And each drop became something different. And the bigger the drop, the bigger it is. You know what I'm saying? And in each drop, something else grew inside of each drop, because each drop rolled just from the heat and the cold. Water was made, and each drop until it could roll no longer. But inside, it had to live, so it ate what was inside to live. It ate what was inside. How did it know to start eating? We see a tail on tadpoles and sperms and things. So how did we even, in that drop, that hair, you coming straight down, you what them build up inside of nothing, that very first drop. That very first drop that came down from out of nowhere, just in that ice that began to separate. And I guess the bigger the chunk, the bigger that one chunk of ice was, made the sun, and everything that fell off outside of the heat. And then it began to repair all of the little life sources that came to life up inside of her, began to work to cause her to live and to heal, because they were now a part of her, and it was their best interest to do what they can to help her to survive. And we're not doing that to the earth. But anyway, we move forward. And here I am, a little sperm. And I'm inside. I'm a life inside of him. I cannot see where I'm going, but I sense. I don't know, do sperm have, they have some sort of, we don't know. But beneath the skin of a sperm may be the ability to see. Just because there's a scale over my eyes doesn't mean I can't see. I can see images in a dark shadow or maybe even a gray. Who knows? And so here I am, a sperm, and I have a tail, and I'm heading through the channels of life, and I may even use my tail to slap and to fight others away, to get away. Who knows? I'm going the fastest. I'm swimming the fastest. I'm going to get down. I'm going to get it. Just running that way. Or maybe even the first one. 'Cause can't you see all them little sperms up in a man nuts? Look at that. I mean, it's a lot of them when they come up out of that one time. And his goobers ain't but so big now. And they up in here and they scratching and they fighting. Because, we love to just tussle. When you're little, you love to just wrestle and you're playing with each other, And it's just how some people play. And it be funny sometimes until it ain't no more. And then you wiggling that tail and you trying to get up out and in that little tail and you slapping each other. And that might, just that right there causes animosity alone when you slap somebody, but you still got to move on, and then you keep it going, and then finally, boom, 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 here he is. Ooh, he need a way. They done got all down in the shaft of this man, just trying to find a way up out of there. And then if they can build up, I wonder, can they go back up through inside of his body and start eating at him too? Because they looking for a way out on a good meal. And this thing that up in here, it ain't feeding no meal. And I don't know, do sperm in the man, if they can't find nothing else to eat, will they eat each other? Will the sperm consume each other if you get hungry? While you in the sperm waiting for the transport, can you eat each other? Because I know we eat to survive. Boom, boom, boom. Do they live up inside of that one? If they eating to survive, okay, they done ate the other sperms, the other life. Because it's life. There's a lot of different lives up in there. It's a lot of different beings up in there. And maybe they subconsciously, they know that only one gonna survive. And when they getting up out of here, cause maybe a lot of them do get eat up inside the man balls, looking to be transported somewhere else, cause they waiting on him to get them a ride over there, And then some get sick of waiting and they start on down through the chamber. Maybe them the older one who done figured it out. You know what? If you want to get up out of here, you best to get up out of that pool and walk on over here to this chamber and get ready for the transport, And then you better hope he like to do it more than once a day. Maybe that's why it feels so good. Because the release. Because they biting, maybe they get to biting on you. I need to get up out of here. They get to biting on you and twiggling, and then they building up, and there's a lot of them in there, and they just tickling. And the release. Have you ever had to pee real bad? Or boo real bad? And then the release itself feel good. So then that's why the man has to do it. And sometimes doing it, the eyes are visual and all of that, and the release and the pleasure, and you know what it take to get you there, and how taboo that thing has been made, and to make it seem like it is not ordinary for people to have sex. Yes, it is. It's okay. It's called life, and how another generation is made, and then how you can become a great-grandparent. I want to be a great-great-grandmama, a great-great-great, and many grandmas steps as I can see, as many branches as I can have on this young tree right here. That's where I live. I live in life and I live in reality. And those are the things that I love. And to see great grandmothers And I said, that could one day be me. That's a cherish. That's someone to cherish. It is right there. But look at old Biden. The things that I hear people saying about him, just because he's an older person doesn't mean that he cannot think straight. I might not agree with his decisions, but I don't do nothing on paper to challenge it. I don't go to let's say if you don't like some of the policies that the United States of government have, do you dare go and petition to say, I don't like what you're doing? No, you don't. Black people are not allowed to do that. The white people have to do that for us. Because a lot of times, if you stand too hard against someone in the government, all people in the government are not bad. And maybe all politicians are not the same way. Maybe all presidents are not the same way, because they too fight a lot of challenges. And you got to have a strong back. Look, if you'll come up in here and you are arguing issues for me, you got to be willing to put your life on the line if you're going to do this job. Because you got a lot of people out there who feel like you trying to stand in their way of life when you make decisions that work against them. So you got to be willing to put your life on the line if you're going to take their job. I don't want it. And then I don't want to go up against them, because they got a whole lot of people set up in there who are killers. Trained to kill. Don't mind killing either. They don't mind putting your motherfucking ass in the eternal rest. And a lot of us is trying to see, even if it ain't us, we trying to see people make it a long time. A lot of us it give us hope. Hey, I might see death all around me, but I'm still pressing forward. And so when we leave in our daddy body, I must have been up in it, because I always be anxious sometimes. And it was as a child, I was ready to go. Or I might have been at that door, boom, ready to get up. Been sitting right there, just sitting there, just waiting. Man, when is this door gonna open again so I can get the hell up out of here? Damn, I'm ready to go. I done got old. I've been in here too long. How long has it been? God damn. Boom, something happened. Bam, here I was, off and running. I once asked my mama, where did it happen? She said in the back seat of a Chevrolet, something like that. Bam, that door, bam, opened up, and that window, and he went right on, boom, 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 and here I came. Fastest little one running up out of there. It was insane. I know which way I got to go. I gotta run. I gotta get there. Bam, there it is. There, that little glow. Warm. I can feel it. I can see it. What is that glow, though? I must make it to it. And now here I am, pushing hard, trying to get through there. I wonder what color is the glow, though. And I'm coming through, and here I am, and I make it through. And then all of this thick stuff is covering me. And it has me covered. And the only way I can survive is to take my tail and suck oxygen. There's nothing in here. I'm sucking oxygen from my tail to live. And here I am, a little spear, trying to live, sucking oxygen from myself, my little tail here. Or do I bite it off? How does it happen? I want to know. I would love to be able to see it underneath some sort of microscope. When the egg gets into, when the sperm get into the egg, the little process. What happens? Does it take its tail and push its tail in its mouth? Does it take it and puncturing, trying to get this stuff from covering up so it can breathe, Just sitting there. Probably the movement, even this, gotta eat, the chewing. going back and just chewing. Did it open up and he just go through, and once he get inside, this goo is just so much. What is it? You see how thick some the inside of an egg can be, and here he is still using his tail to puncture to get in, to open his mouth. But still, the tail gives it the ability to breathe, and gotta use its tail to suck oxygen from. And now here we got this little ball that's living on itself, breathing in air through its tail. And now, whatever is in this egg begins the transformation process. I wonder if the tail is chopped off, this life, does it make it a woman? And if the tail is spared, do it becomes a man? I just think that way. Yep. The longer the process made, the longer it took, being afraid, sucking more oxygen in, who knows? Yep. Or eating it. Who knows? Sucking it in and eating it. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? What did it? How long did it take before oxygen was supplied straight from the blood? You know, like oxygen, the red blood cells and the white blood cells inside of my mom's body and inside of her egg. It began attaching itself, breathing for me, providing air in at like little different thing, just landed onto this thing and began supplying oxygen to it. And then as it just grew out, it's just amazing. And look at it, it all turned into skin and eyes, and do the oxygen just land everywhere? I mean, the point where the nose is, and the point where the mouth is, oxygen land there, something. What is it though? It's amazing. And where the nose is, something else land there. And we were able to sustain breath from and the chamber. Did our tail, did it come back out? I mean, isn't it amazing? I mean, just think about it. Did the oxygen, when the blood land, did it just start eating? Because I'm a virus now. Did it land on me and just start eating me up? I mean, what? Did it go in through this little cave and through my mouth where I breathe in and breathe out? And here oxygen is trying to save my life. We got to help keep it breathing. And it went in through the nose. I mean, and just, what? Isn't it I want to, just to think about it. You know, the face, the sperm, the face, where the eyes were, the nose, the mouth. It was without form, though. It was just like a little sperm, nothing, but yet it was there. The ability to be able to breathe without the nose or the mouth. It was there. And underneath water. In the water. And I'm quite sure that as it traveled through the water, it was sucking in, breathing in, spitting back out, and then here it find the thing, the glow takes whatever it is, and it brings forth a completely different thing that has to be, it has to lead a female body. It's like, perhaps it's where a life source, two life sources meet and decide that they are going to have to coexist, that they both may live. And the body is made. And perhaps is a female. When it's a female, it's two. It's two females living inside of there. It's something that has decided that it's male, two female, two. I don't know the ability. I don't know. What is it? When it's a female, you got two X chromosomes. So that means it's two females. Is it known what we are the moment we sit down inside of that body? And right here, we know. I know I'm a female. I know I want to bring forth life. Yeah, I know it at that moment. I don't, that I want to be the one to bring forth life. Or is it when I know. Even when I leave out my daddy's sperm, I already know that. Or is it assigned to me? I don't know. How is it that, am I a female before? Has it all in my mind? I already know that I want to bring forth life. But what if when I get there, that's not what happened? And when I'm born, I still feel the need to bring forth life. But I can't, not the way I want to. But I have to, the way I'm chosen. What if it's not? What if we feel? What if, that's what I meant? Well, they know they want to have a baby and be a mother, nurture a baby, and perhaps when they are in their dad's sperm, they might feel that way. But once they're born, they may not be able to do that because they were born the sex that they did not want to be born. And is it when two exes sit down in the seat that is a female? And then when a man when a male sperm and a female sperm sit down in the seat, then they are at odds because he don't want to be born a girl and she don't want to be born a boy. Or maybe one of them has to give up who they want to be. I mean, I don't know. What are the two different chromosomes? Are the two different chromosomes? You got an XX and an XY. Is it like two different spirits in one body? That means that you got this side that thinks and that side that has its own thoughts, and you might have some thoughts coming from back here and some thoughts coming from over there sometimes. You like sometimes like, and who am I? And where are the other thoughts coming from sometimes that you hear? Are they like a chamber over here? And then where do my thoughts actually come from? That's the ability to know how to eat and to know how to breathe. Those things are stored in here somewhere. And when people have a stroke or something sometimes, it's like they forget how to do that temporarily. Like their body converts back. It's like everything that chromosome, I guess the chromosome is the life. I don't know what the life is. The life is a chromosome that's inside oxygen, okay? And it create a body. It's a body being created. And perhaps it helped aid it in the creation of itself from the inside, trying to find a way out. How can I get out of here? How can I get out of here? What is this? What's happening? Maybe the body spontaneously starts mutating into something that this thing here, it does not know what is happening to it. But, and perhaps it just go along with it because it don't know what's happening. Because it's brand new. It's brand new. And even if it's a spirit that has been around and been through sex, like being born, maybe even a different species. Because see, the life is, you got to see now how small a sperm is now. But inside that sperm is life. So it's a lot of different lives living inside a man's sperm. And that even when he shoot off inside of her, all of them lives now are transferred into her. And her body can recycle that life. Even though it kills the sperm and takes it, it don't kill the life. It used the outside of it. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. It eat the outside of it. And the life is recycled and used somewhere else for help, perhaps as building blocks inside of a woman to help her body to be sustained. Long as it come inside of the female body, right? If it go inside of the rectum, then it can eat at the body. The sperm eats to live. It breathes oxygen to live. And our body supplies it to us the same way the earth supplied to us. Something else we need to work on, healing. The mind need to be healed. Sometimes the body don't function right when the mind don't function right. And the sperm get inside of the body the wrong way. And now here all of these things are looking to live. And it's eating up your blood, eating up your organs that it can live, and mutates into a cell that attaches onto your body and eat and eat and eat and do nothing but eat and eat and eat because it mutated the wrong way. It can't be used properly inside of your body because all it gonna do is just live and eat and make you sick because it cannot it does not have the ability to reproduce healthy cells. It does not, but it can kill them off and eat them up. It'll eat up the healthy blood cells so it can live. Eat a lot of them too. To survive, it eats a lot of them. And now it turns around and it can't reproduce healthy cells. It can't reproduce any cells inside your body. All it does is live and eat. Live and eat. And it does not reproduce. And see, we're not reproducing cells inside of the earth. Our mind has been fixed to help cause sterilization inside of the race. See, the old ways are still afflicting us and causing oppression to us. And trying desperately to kill all. It seems like whatever it is, death is still trying to win, to kill off all forms of life on this planet. And that's another reason why I said, well, maybe we're not supposed to be here. The reason we can freely kill each other, and think that we are the only one that is supposed to live. That's like a way of viral. It's like you damage. You're living in an illusion, and you've come become a zombie and don't know it. And have you ever seen people standing out on, I've never seen them with my own eyes, but I've seen pictures of people hanging from trees, and they got their little children there looking. Teaching them at a young age that it's okay to hang people from trees. Teaching them at a young age that it's okay to gun people down who just passing, who just trying to pass through, who just trying to pass through. They call them migrators. People who travel on foot. People are afraid of people who travel by foot. It's the only way they had to travel. They had to leave everything. Many people had to flee because those that murder for no reason are coming. Those zombies, the zombies are coming. The zombies are everywhere. And all of that precious stuff and how long it takes for us to get here. And we have no respect for it. No respect for life whatsoever. And there I lay in this egg in my mother's body, being created and helping to create myself. I had to eat and I had to breathe. And then one day, the food supply cut off, and here I am. I'm trying to wiggle to get up out of him because this body can no longer feed me no more, and it's squeezing me out because now I've turned into a parasite. I'm trying to kill it too. It wanted to reproduce. The mind wants to reproduce. We want life. We've been trained not to. And even though we might choose not to, doesn't mean we don't want to. It's a lot of women who are sterile. And there have been a lot of practices that have been used to hide the fact that your daughter who might be 13-year-old is having sex and got pregnant. If her body and her mind together were not so joined that she could have a baby at the age of 13, she would not have a baby at the age of 13. We leave many 13-year-olds at home in the evening time with our babies so we can go to work. So don't say they not capable. We don't want, society didn't want it to happen in fear of them not being the majority. And that don't matter in a whole lot of other countries. But it mattered to a whole lot of people in certain places that they be the majority. Even in places that were not theirs. And then now I have to live in fear because I became the zombie that would kill. I became the zombie that would kill to help spare the life of someone else that don't care about picking a fight and killing off all of these people. They don't care about killing because they not the one doing it. Their hands is clean. Well, they told me to do it. They told me to do it. I was doing it for him. If you didn't want to, you wouldn't sign up to do it. You would not do it. They can't make you do that. Not unless they threatening your life. And then it ain't no place you can hide. And we go through all of that suffering to bring children into the world. And that 9 months of just loving that baby so much before it get here. And then just holding it in our arms and just loving on it. And just growing and keeping it close to our body. Because it's close to our mind. And it's close to our heart. And somebody can take it so easily. I said, fucking stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Take a whole lot just for one life to get here. A whole lot. And then somebody love that life before it even born. And just because of daddy, it's not that doesn't mean he didn't love it too. But society done taught him. He can't do nothing. He can't be a daddy. He ain't this, he ain't that. Them old ways continue to plague us. And they can't stick around, and maybe some of them can't stick around long. Maybe they ain't ready to settle down, but it don't mean they don't love the children or don't want the child. And then the women can't get along. Then they were taught, well, I can't have them all to live together. They think that one got to have me more than the other one, and things like that were common and were custom. Women didn't care, 'cause he took care. He brought the food home, and then everything that was the norm for people was taken away. Now a price tag, something that they had never dealt with. People lived freely amongst the lands. They birthed it from the land there. And then someone came along and said, I want this. I'm going to have it. And I'm going to have your virgin daughters that I too. Read it, Numbers 31. That's where it became on record, where it happened at, and the beginning of it. The beginning of the wars and the taking away people's stuff and the causing of oppression and suffering. It was, we don't know who this God is, because King James wasn't clear as to who this God was. But we know that the Bible came from, what was it? It was was it not something that came from a Geneva Bible? And he had it translated, and he added more books. So was his father this God, and he was Jesus? Were that some of their aliases? You don't know they had many. They were kings. They were kings in the castles. But when they wanted to go out, they went out in disguise. People would kill them because they were so ruthless to others. They were most wanted in other areas. But when they come back to their kingdom and they sit on their throne, they all peaches and cream. When they go back home to be with their family, they all peaches and cream. And they peoples don't know what they doing outside of their territory. They go to somebody else's territory and rob them and steal them and kill them and shoot them down. And they do it all in disguise. And they sit around and look at people and say they friends with them. And then they go back and they ain't nothing but some bandits. And they steal all of their royals and all of their goods and take it and build their kingdom up. And build their kingdom up. And kill off all of these people. And say it's okay. So I changed my way of thinking about the Bible and who I wish to worship. And why do I want to worship him? Because he was docked to death. You read it. You read it yourself. He was docked to death. You read it yourself. It's how I see him. I don't care how you see him. I didn't see no justifying all of them people that were being killed. And just because they're homosexual don't mean they should have been killed. Now, if they were doing that, taking it, and the person didn't want to give it up, then they should be held accountable for their actions. And this little person here should not have to suffer at the hands. And then all of those things are done in secrecy. And it's a lot of people who will put you to sleep so you won't tell their secret. They don't care about your life. They care about what they want. And that's to release them sperms. And that's the only way they feel they can do it. Use your motherfucking hand. Use your hand. Use your hand. You don't have to use a little child. You don't have to use them to release. Who cares? Ain't nobody watching. Don't nobody care what you do with your pecker. In fact, if you want to make some money from it, you can do that thing with your hand and upload it to Pornhub. You got a lot of women who will look. They into that looking thing. You don't have to touch no child, no children, but you got a lot of people who into that. And what it does is it make victims. Because now this child got to hide it, got to cover it up. They're afraid you're going to kill them, and you ruining their life. Because if they say no, no should mean no. You should not have the right to take it. But I can see where we are no different than the animals. And you got some men who act just like the wild animal and take it. Have you ever seen a female dog trying to fight a male dog off? And sometimes in the end, the male dog do win. And she tried to fight him. And then she just stopped fighting and just submit. Sometimes women do that to save their life. They stop fighting and submit. The little boy